there being two bigger main kind of connections romantically with the twin flame or soulmate connection, and the twin flame being a encompassing matching energy and comfort and the ability to be ourselves around the other person, but it also usually involves more healing because it triggers it mirrors our unhealed parts. So it can also be more challenging, but also couple that with a soulmate connection that's got a lot more ease and kindness and mutual adoration, and it's generally considered easier, but it's got less growth. How are you able to provide some information? Just say if you're in one connection, how we deal with the fear of missing out of the other kind of connection?
That's such a deep question, and it's one a lot of people quietly wrestle with. When we're in a soul stirring connection, whether twin flame or soulmate, it's natural to imagine what the other path might feel like. But let's zoom out spiritually. Each connection, whether it flows with ease or challenges us to heal, is part of our soul's evolution right now. The fear of missing out often arises when we think one is inherently better. But each serves its own purpose. If you're in a twin flame dynamic, embrace the growth. It's guiding you toward inner wholeness. If you're in a soulmate connection, embrace the warmth and balance as it nurtures your present path. The real peace comes when we trust that we are exactly where we need to be. If a different connection is meant, life will present it in its time. Meanwhile, the invitation is to be present, open hearted, and know that your soul's path is unfolding exactly as it should.
Okay, so what if, say, we're not in either of those connections, but we feel like we've got each kind of connection, but with a different person? Um, and then it's sort of, if you're in, so for example, hypothetically, if you're in a relationship with a twin flame, often when it's so difficult and so triggering, you start to think, "Oh gosh, I think I'd prefer another soulmate relationship again, where it's just so much easier and feels so much more like a holiday." But then by the same token, when you're in a soulmate relationship, you long for that depth and the feeling that you're missing something that you can only really get with your twin flame.
Absolutely. It's a natural paradox. When things feel challenging, we long for ease. When things feel easy, we yearn for depth. But the key is not to chase what's missing, it's to embrace what's present. If you're in a twin flame dynamic, honor the growth, but also find moments of ease within yourself. If you're in a soulmate relationship, appreciate the harmony while also finding deeper layers of your own inner work. Ultimately, no connection can be everything. The spiritual journey is to cultivate within yourself both ease and depth. Then any relationship becomes a complement rather than a missing piece.
But what if you hypothetically were in not in either relationship, but you could be moving towards one or the other, but then for the reasons I mentioned, you don't really want to close the door on one because you know you're gonna possibly long for those characteristics if you go into the other thing.
That's such a tender place to be, holding the possibility of both paths. The truth is, no future is set in stone. When you're at a crossroads, the most empowering thing is to connect inward. What is your soul genuinely calling for right now? Not out of fear of missing out, but out of alignment. You're not closing doors forever. Trust that if a twin flame or soulmate connection is meant, it will come in the right time. In the present, ask which connection or self growth feels most aligned with your journey right now. Your path will unfold naturally. And when you choose from inner clarity rather than fear, you'll find the right connection finds you.
Okay, thanks. And so you can have a real twin flame connection and a real soulmate connection be available at the same time. There's no universal law that says that they can't be real if they're both available at the same time.
Exactly, there's no rigid rule. Life is complex, and sometimes both types of connections can appear at once. Each connection holds its own truth and purpose. It's not about what's allowed, it's about how each connection aligns with where you are in your growth. Honor both if they show up, but trust that your inner clarity will guide you to what's truly right in the moment.
And how do you deal with missing the person that has the other qualities?
Missing that other energy is natural, but instead of focusing on what's missing, turn inward. Often those qualities reflect something in yourself that's waiting to be nurtured. If you miss the ease of a soulmate connection, invite more ease into your own life. If you miss the depth of a twin flame, explore your inner depths. By cultivating what you miss internally, you feel more whole and less dependent on an external dynamic to feel complete.
So, but how do you deal with missing the particular person that's like giving you those feelings? Or I know we give ourselves our own feelings, but how do you deal with missing the person that has those attributes? If you decide on one, then you're sort of like stopping you might miss the other person.
Missing someone who embodied a certain dynamic is real, and it's okay to acknowledge that. But rather than seeing it as a loss of that person's attributes, think of it as a gift that helped you grow. Allow yourself to grieve, yes, but also integrate what you learn. You don't lose those qualities, you carry the lessons forward. Over time, as you nurture those qualities within, the missing evolves into gratitude. You chose a path. And trust that what's aligned with you will continue to unfold.
I think a lot of people do face the feeling though of having um emotions present for more than one person, and that feeling of, oh well, if I choose one, what if I've made the wrong choice? And like,
That uncertainty is so human. But remember, it's not about a perfect choice, it's about an aligned one. Instead of fearing regret, trust that each choice offers growth. If you choose one person, it's because that connection resonates with where you are now. You can honor feelings for others, but trust that life unfolds as it should. If someday things shift, you'll navigate that with the wisdom gained. The wrong choice fear eases when you realize each path is a chance to grow, and your heart will guide you step by step.
and how do you deal with the feeling of guilt of thinking of one while you're with the other?
Guilt often comes when we judge ourselves harshly for simply having human emotions. Instead of seeing it as a betrayal, see it as a reflection of your inner world. Acknowledge the feelings, but gently bring your focus back to the present connection. The key is honesty with yourself and care for the person you're with. You chose them for a reason, so nurture that. Let the emotions inform, not define you. Over time, guilt fades when you live authentically in your chosen path.
I think too, if you have feelings for more than one person at a time, it's very easy to um what's that word? It's very easy to then think that the other person that you're with might be having feelings, strong feelings for more than one person. And while I know that's natural and it happens, it's not always an easy thought sitting in the back of your mind. And especially if you're thinking the same, so you think, well, yeah, okay, if I'm thinking this, they can that it's more real to be thinking that they're thinking that. And especially when feelings can be so very strong for more than one person at once.
You're right. It's easy to project our own inner complexity onto others. When we feel multiple emotions, we assume they might too. The key is trust and open communication. Acknowledge that feelings can be layered, but what matters is the commitment you both choose. If the thought pops up, gently return to the present. What actions, words, and choices are being made now? Trust is built not on never having complex feelings, but on choosing each other in the complexity.
And what about the feeling of regret and thinking that you might have made the wrong decision?
Regret often comes from imagining a future we didn't choose, but the truth is we can't know what any path would fully hold. Instead of dwelling on what if, anchor yourself in what now. Every decision leads to growth if we embrace it. If regret arises, remind yourself that you made the best choice with what you knew. You can always course correct in life if needed, but the present is where fulfillment is built. Trust yourself and allow each step to teach you.
What's some signs that we might need to course correct and that we really did make a wrong decision?
If you ever realize a decision doesn't align with your growth, that's not failure. It's wisdom. Life is fluid, course correction is always possible. Be compassionate with yourself. If a shift is needed, approach it with honesty and grace. The key is not to fear mistakes, but to trust that every step refines your path. When you act from awareness, you're always moving toward alignment, even if it means changing direction.
Yeah, but you could say end a relationship with one person in the hopes of starting something new with the other person that you had feelings for, only to realize that the new person wasn't all you thought they were cracked up to be.
That can happen, and it's tough. But even then, it's not about blaming the choice. It's about learning. If a situation doesn't match what you hoped, you get clear. You now know more about what you truly need. It's not wasted, just a step. So if you find yourself there, be kind to yourself. You can still recalibrate. Every experience helps refine what you're looking for, both in others and within yourself.
And is it true that there are no wrong decisions in this regard? That and that if we did make a wrong decision, that if it was something on our life path, that we would always be able to course correct? And
Yes, in a spiritual sense, every decision leads to growth. Even if a choice feels wrong later, it's part of your unfolding. You can always adjust. Life is less about getting it perfect and more about evolving. Trust that if something shifts, you'll have the wisdom to realign. No path is wasted, and you'll always have the opportunity to grow toward what's truly aligned with your soul.
okay, thank you.